sure you heard this before. You know, you guys, love is love. Love is love. Who are you to say someone can't love? You should be able to let people get married because they love each other. And I said, that's a great point. Wonderful point. And we don't want to deny love. Here's the question. Are all human relationships that involve love, are they all marriage? Not at all. And so to say that there are two human beings or more who have a loving relationship, do we need to call that marriage? No, because we know that love is not the distinctive characteristic of marriage. It doesn't belong solely to marriage. Okay, so maybe it's this. Maybe it's commitment. Maybe it's, it's not just love. It's a commitment for a whole life. But we know this. We know that commitment isn't the sole essential element of matrimony or of marriage. Because we have a lot of human relationships that involve commitment. What about mutual support? Like there's a sense of like, there's not only love, there's not only commitment, there's also this mutual support. And I remember I live right down the street from a Benedictine monastery. And the nuns who live in this Benedictine monastery, they love each other. They have a level of commitment to each other and to the Lord. And they have a level of mutual support that they have for each other. Now, will we call that marriage? So no, because it's lacking even more central element. What about exclusivity? And here's where we're going to get to like when we're landing. Because what we're going to hear a lot of times is this. What we're going to hear is that you're denying someone love, the ability to commit to each other. You're denying someone that mutual support and respect that they get. No one's denying those things. Those things are all good things, and those things are all immediately accessible without the intervention of a redefinition of what marriage is. All of those things, love, commitment, support, exclusivity, those are all immediately accessible without redefining what marriage is.
What that amounts to is that you're claiming that you have the right to make the rules and everyone else has to follow your rules, and not everyone agrees with your rules. And what's so bad if somebody says, I want to call football baseball? If it's not harming you, if it's not affecting your marriage, if it's not in any way interrupting your life, how is it fair for you to just arbitrarily say that you can't call it this? But they're not doing anything to harm you. It's not fair that you should try to restrict their ability to fall in love and get married when you just don't like the terminology issue. Who cares what you think about that? That's not fair.
Yeah, I think you're right. I mean, when you ask the question, who cares what you think about that? You're right, nobody. And nobody should care what I think about it. Because I didn't invent it. I received it. We all received it. Here's the dangerous experiment that we're in the middle of. That for all of human history, even though homosexual practices have been a reality of all human civilizations, there has never, ever been a redefinition of marriage to also mean homosexual relationships. And so here's the dangerous experiment. Like, who am I? I'm nobody. I'm the recipient. We're all the recipient of this institution that does what? We have to understand, the state did not create marriage. That marriage precedes politics. Marriage precedes culture. Marriage precedes the state. Marriage is the fundamental building block. I think we could all agree that marriage is a fundamental building block of human society. So here's the question. If you're an architect, and you said, okay, here's a great material. There's this kind of concrete block is I know it's solid. I know it works. I know if you stack them, you can only stack them up to about, 3-4 stories, because this is the kind of, well, here's what we're going to do. We're going to change the composition of these building blocks and then just start building. And I think that kind of idea of like, who am I? I'm nobody. We are all the recipients of something that has created a culture that has pros and cons. But what will happen if we cease to promote heterosexual bonding, which has created, yes, some bad cultures, but also some incredible cultures? I think it's too big of an issue just to jump into without doing some other kind of work first.
In one sentence, well, maybe more than one, but I would say that there are many things in life. I'm now taking the Catholic apologist point of view. There are many things in life that are not fair, but they're not intended to be fair. So you may say it's not fair that you call this honesty when you tell the truth, But over here, if somebody is not telling the truth, why don't we call that honesty too? It's not fair. Well, whether you agree or disagree, we all know that truth is what it is. Anything outside of that truth is not going to be truth. So it's not a matter of fairness that we're not allowing somebody who perjures himself in a courtroom, for example, to continue to call himself a truthful person. We can begin to see that it's not really a matter of fairness in certain aspects, this being one of them.